Hi everybody, and welcome to Things That Matter. I am Tracee Ford, and I am the producer and the director and the actress, and I do all this. I decided to plug this in because it's important, and we're talking about things that matter. And I think that one of the most important things that you will experience as a person is your own evolution, which leads to your power of self. Whether you like it or not, time changes you. Situations change you. Experiences change you. You have a few options when this happens. You can either embrace it or you can ignore the changes. In some situations, I have admittedly chosen to ignore situations. In other circumstances, I've chosen to embrace those situations. And even when sometimes it just forces you to grow and you have no control whatsoever. But sometimes you have to realize that the best way to get something done is to learn who you are and to reinvent yourself or upgrade your software, so to speak. Sounds easy, right? No. First, I want to thank everybody who voted for me, in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. Through Glass Darkly was up for a Reviewer's Choice Award, as well as the Between World Series. And that's through the Paranormal Romance Guild, which I am a member of. That has happened twice. Idolum, which is no longer in print, and Voice of the Dead is what took Idolum's place, with lots of changes and different things like that. That book was nominated, I believe it was 2 years ago, and secured second place in that competition, because that's exactly what it is. It's a competition. What happens basically is your book is reviewed and it's placed up for popular vote, thus the competition. So if you have enough votes, whether your book stinks or not, you place and you win. Now, I'm not saying my book stinks, because I don't believe that. I believe that I write decently good books. But as far as a reward, there isn't one. There's no money, there's no t-shirt, there's no prize money, not with this particular competition. Now with others, there sometimes is. There's some big payoff sometimes. And although I'd like to tell you that it's, here's the thing. Every writer, every author, every creator wants their work recognized, period. They want people to see it. So in this situation, the reward comes when that stamp that you were a nominee or that you won gets put on that book. That's the award, is the recognition. I would like to tell you that that's enough. And I don't want to sound like an ungrateful person. So that's why I'm thanking everyone for your support and your voting. Because it means a lot to me that people step out and they support me. My students, my relatives, my family, my friends, Facebook followers, all step up. In this process, this particular time, there was actually a complaint filed that I was, and because I'm not under the weight of confidentiality, I'm going to talk about it. Basically, I was told that I was bribing people to vote, that I was giving books away to get votes. So I'm going to set the record straight right now about that, and I'm going to enlighten you on that subject. Now, I've already blogged about this when it happened. I talked about it in my fan club. I talked about it in the Facebook event. I'm not going to be quiet about it, because here's what happens. It hurts people. When you falsely accuse them of something, it hurts them. And they're going to do one of two things. They're going to either project that hurt through anger, or they're going to project that hurt through motivation, or they're going to do both. And if you're a writer or creator of any kind, you're going to want to listen to this episode extremely closely. I have found that it doesn't matter how old I get, the fallout of competition does not cease. As much as we try to hold each other up in this world of writing and publishing, sometimes it becomes a dog-eat-dog situation when, and unfortunately I've experienced this both times with both nominations. But that's the nature of the beast, really. The truth is, unfortunately, there are individuals out there, authors, creators, whatever, they are in competition with other people, other authors, other creators. That's fine. That's their journey. That's not me. Competition has a way of bringing out the absolute worst in people. And even though I'm almost 40, that hateful, let's get this person has not changed since I was a child and competition was introduced. So anyway, the complaint was, again, basically that I was bribing people to buy to get votes, and I was buying those votes by giving away books, which is the furthest thing from the truth. My ebook, The Fine Line, it's been up on Smashwords for free since the beginning of January. Now, I'm taping this and recording this at the end of January. It's been up almost the entire month and isn't due to come down till February 1st. My paperbacks have been up on eBay for 2 months. The first time I sold them at a different price. The second time I lowered the price. So they've been up there for a significant amount of time. I created an event inside of Facebook just like I did the last time I was nominated. And it was to bring attention to the voting process. It was also to have fun and do prizes and do Q&A and all kinds of different things. Whether you chose to vote for me or not, you're welcome to join the event and enjoy yourself. That's what it was all about. And why am I talking about this? Because it's offensive. The whole situation was offensive. It is offensive. And when I'm offended, that means pretty much that my character has been attacked somehow, which is exactly what happened. I've been told to forget about this and just let it go. However, let's put you in that situation and see what you feel like. I resent being told to let it go because it hurt me. It angered me and it hurt me. And when someone goes after my character, I'm absolutely going to address it. I've done this before, and I'm going to keep doing it. So if you have the audacity to attack my character, I will address it and go public with it. Here's something else I want to say. If any, ever, of my friends, or whether they're authors or not, if I knew they were going to be pulled out of line, I would have absolutely told them. Rules or not, that's how loyalty works. And that's what it looks like. You fend for one another. You hold each other up. And we talked about this last time with healthy relationships and trust and the things that a healthy relationship looks like. So, and as I've lived through these situations, whether it was in the corporate world or whether when I worked for the government and now as a writer, this kind of behavior, I'm going to go ahead and let you get your head chopped off and I'm not going to warn you. That is commonplace and it's completely and utterly unfortunate. But it is true. That's just how life is. here's what happens. When a situation like this comes to light, it does quite a few things. It either ignites motivation, at least for me it does, because when I'm mad, I become highly motivated, and basically I'm sent back to the drawing board. I'm bound and determined to learn, now that this has happened, various different avenues of publishing that I had no interest in before. It's true, I own an indie publishing preparation company, and we have service providers that help out with various different facets of that business. But isn't it about time that I learned how to run it on my own? Isn't it time that I learned how to do absolutely every single thing that we offer in that business, just because it's good practice? Yeah, it's time. And this motivated me to do that. So, like I've always said, there's a positive inside a negative. Anyway, I wanted to thank you all for voting, because Through Glass Darkly ended up being first place by popular vote for Best Paranormal Romance in a general category of 2015. And Between Worlds secured second place in Best Romance, Paranormal Romance Series of 2015. So I'm proud to say that you and I, we did this ethically and above board. And even though I was accused of unsportsmanlike conduct, we did it the right way. I'm walking away from this. I'm not doing this again. I absolutely want my books to win awards, but I don't want them to win awards this way. Especially when every single time they've been nominated, it's a dramatic practice. And for me, that's too much to handle. I can't deal with it. And I wouldn't expect any other author to do it. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to ignite fun. It's supposed to bring people in and bring people together. It's not supposed to tear people down. So the reason why I'm saying this is because in any situation, you need to be true to yourself. Evolution is a natural process. Motivation comes from vast sources. So you need to tap into those sources to better understand yourself. And for God's sake, call things out as they are, which is exactly what I'm doing. It's amazing how stunted people can remain because they can't see the benefit of detaching from certain hostile situations. They just refuse to get out of them, and they think they can change them. And change naturally scares us, so we tend to stay with things just because we're afraid to walk away from it. I'm not going to lie to you. This whole process of evolution that I'm getting ready to embark upon, it's going to be a learning curve. And it's one I'm not looking forward to. But it's one I'm very capable of. And climbing a mountain may make smoke come out of my ears. But when it comes right down to it, eventually I'm going to be at the top of that learning curve and understand everything I need to know. Teaching college was the same way. It started out slow. This is the second semester I've taught. I'm much more comfortable. I can teach without almost looking at the PowerPoints. But then I added a psychology class and I'm right back to square one. I'm having to learn it all over again, which is fine. That's what we're built to do. We're built to learn, and we're built to become more aware of self and how to improve self. So as I close with this episode and this sort of little life lesson, we've already talked about relationships, so we know what those are supposed to look like. So I think this is pretty much a springboard maybe from that episode, but it's absolutely necessary for you to know who your friends are, who you can trust, who you can seek out for those healthy relationships. Because if you don't, damage will ensue. It's inevitable. And when that happens, it will suck the life force out of you. I was off social media almost all day the day after the voting. I was exhausted because I had been put into an emotional situation that I wasn't at all expecting. I thought this was going to go smooth this time, and it didn't. So I was exhausted. Plus, I was learning how to do these other things that I've not learned to do before, and I was seeking out folks that I knew would help me, and that I have to teach myself. But I also need someone to teach me what I'm missing, basically. So that's what I did all day the day after voting. I wasn't even informed that I'd won. I happened to go on the website and see it. But when the rubber meets the road, who stands by you is who you're gonna lend your trust to. And when you find out that you cannot trust someone, that's not a healthy relationship. Springboarding off last episode. So be empowered. You have within yourself what's necessary to be successful in whatever you choose to do. You know what you're good at. You know where your skills are, and you know what you love to do. Wouldn't it be great if you could get paid for that? I love to write. I'm going to write. I'm going to keep writing. Whether I'm involved in a guild or not, I'm going to keep writing. So no matter what, don't give up. Keep looking for those healthy relationships and those friendships. You're going to pull through. And when the tide gets high, whoever's left standing, that's who was really with you the whole time.